Good day to you and welcome. We're reaching you live from our studios at Souq News Television. My name is Oyinpreye Krumale. We will be taking a look at three critical key stories that was discussed or broadcasted in the news by Grace Komolafe because it has a critical alignment with the Nigerian economy, but I will not be doing that by myself. Hello to you, Chooks John Rogers. We won't be talking about sports today.
Thank you very much, Priya. It's always nice being here with you.
Okay. And, of course, Olumide Sokoya.
Glad to have you here, Priya.
Okay. Straight into the business of the day. Nigeria is set to fully repay its $3.32 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund by the end of 2029, which should be done with that. The loan disbursed in April 2020 under the Rapid Financing Instrument is said to be held to cushion the economy from the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, including a sharp drop in oil prices and recession. According to the International Monetary Fund's latest data, the repayment will span from 2025 to 2029, with $446.21 million due this year and about $36.1 million annually from 2026 onward. This year alone, we will be paying more than $400 million to the IMF 2025. That loan is going to commence from this year. And from 2026, we'll be paying about $36.1 million. So what came to my mind is, okay, how much is the budget for this year? Because I remember vividly in the previous administration, we're spending over 70% of our internally generated revenue to service debt. It doesn't look like we've left that conversation yet. Mr. Chooks, what's your perspective?
I had to just keep quiet and listen to you land on this. Let's be a bit factual and tell ourselves some good truths. So when the slap hits, we know where it's going to pay. A percentage of our budget this year is going to be financed through borrowing. And now, that particular budget that we are looking at financing, via borrowing, we are going to service debt that we borrowed. Now, this administration did not take that debt. If possible, at a point in time, we're thinking of any administration that come on board and take a loan from anywhere before that administration should leave. They should pay that loan. That's a policy that is positive and something we should say, yes, let's hold on to it. Now, let's come to this narrative. Who's pushing it out? IMF. Who is giving? IMF. Who is collecting? IMF. Who is telling us when and where and how much is going to be paid? IMF. This is not coming from the federal government. It's not coming from the budget office. It's not coming from the National Statistics Office. It's not coming from the presidency. So now, whose narrative? What exactly are they trying to tell us? Pay up. And they are still giving us some more. It's that same circle of debt trap. It's the same thing. They are the ones benefiting. And also remember that this particular monies that came with, in quote, things you had to do to collect it.
Conditions.
Not if you say conditions, it will look, okay, conditions. Things we had to do to collect it. Who is suffering at the end of the day? The Nigerians are suffering because a lot of their subsidies had to be cut to get these monies in the first place. Now you give it to us. You say, do this, do that. We do it, we do that. You now give it to us, and we'll pay you back. Hope you know they are making profit.
Okay, but, you know, Olumide, let's look at it from another perspective. Okay. Whilst I'm of the school of thought that no government in the nation, including the United States of America, as rich as they are, including China, they are owing. So nations are bound to collect some form of loans to facilitate other aspects of their economy that, you know, they can't readily access raw materials to develop. But on our own case, it looks like Nigerians were always raising our voices that government don't collect tax, don't collect loans. You are selling and mortgaging the future of Nigeria. If we don't collect these loans, are we going to facilitate other aspects of our budget and other critical aspects of our economy?
It's not about collecting the loan. It's about what are you putting in place to repay that loan. Do you remember what happened that one of our flights, or plane rather, was seized? Remember that whole fiasco?
A presidential plane to be specific.
Presidential
not just one of our flights.
I remember it was just close to the time we heard they got a new jet. It's a lie, you're not getting a new jet. So it's not about you borrowing. Yes, just like you rightly said, countries need debt to finance so many things, and of course, but making provisions to pay this thing is what matters. Now, we heard that before, after the subsidy was removed, we were saving 1 trillion naira. I wonder what happened to that, and I hope the 1 trillion
before
naira,
the subsidy was removed, or after the
subsidy was removed, rather,
yeah.
we've been saving 1 trillion
naira.
naira. So I hope that it's this 1 trillion naira we are using to pay back the debt. That's my own.
But
I hope so.
Gentlemen.
Because the people will suffer for these loans that are being collected.
Okay, I remember vividly myself, Dr. Dausa, and we were talking about this issue, and there was a statistical, analysis of how much each Nigerians were owing.
Over 100,000, almost 200,000.
Naira.
As of then, 178.
As of then, thank you.
178,000 each Nigerian for
Each
over
Nigerian.
240 million people.
Okay.
Well, okay, I don't want to be sarcastic by asking you if you have paid your own portion.
Was that monthly, or was it quarterly, or was it per annum?
No, probably
Because
when we all come together to put that money on the
if I
debt,
have
then
paid
we
my
could
part.
pay back.
Okay.
The Buhari administration collected this money in 2020.
Exactly.
So by 2030, they expected us to have paid this money.
2029.
By 2029, they expected Nigeria to have fully paid the money. However, they are not going to start collecting the money back from Nigeria until 5 years after.
This year.
Which is this year. So there's this gap that was given to the economy to be able to recoup or invest that money in specific areas for us to recoup the money, to recoup at least our first tranche of paying back to the International Monetary Fund. Do you think we've been able to do that?
Let's ask ourselves this first question. What was the money used for in the first place?
I was going to ask that.
COVID-19, to ameliorate the harsh economy.
Oh, good. That's English.
That came,
To cushion the effect.
Okay.
Yeah. To cushion the effect
Okay, now,
that came with COVID-19 pandemic.
Can you break it down for my mechanic that is fixing the car to understand?
Okay, some of the packages
Which one?
that Nigerians
Right,
looted from these warehouses were supposed to be part of it.
Okay. Those ones that now you said they looted. Remember, there was also a COVID-19 fund that came from corporate Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. So I can also tell you that those particular ones that were in those warehouses came from corporate Nigeria. So can somebody account or tell us exactly what these billions were used for? In specific terms, and not just put COVID-19 on it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Now, I would have loved us to consider to continue on that line of conversation. However, we still have two other stories to deal with here. However, you have asked a very, very important and a very, very critical question. And I think it's not a rhetorical question. I think the National Assembly that has been saddled with the responsibility of carrying out oversight functions to look into the activities of the executive arm of government. We're going to put some of these questions into consideration and to begin to give us, another view of things. But we have another story that, begs for the attention, and that has to do with oil and gas. The landing costs of premium motor spirit, PMS, popularly called Petrol, has now averaged 870 naira per liter, reported by the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria. It has shown that this is even as the price offered by Dangote Petroleum Refinery threatened the margins of fuel importers and marketers alike. According to the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, the landing cost of petrol was 872 naira per liter on April 28 and 868 naira per liter as of April 29. Now, this is the point where I want to get to. On April 23rd, the landing cost averaged 859 naira per liter, indicating that the cost of import petrol has now risen above Dangote Refinery's announced ex-depot price of petrol of 835 naira per liter, with the landing cost rising. Importers of the petroleum products seem to be having challenges selling their products at profitable rates. I don't know why you are laughing, but maybe you should tell us why you're laughing.
Okay. I think every one of us on this table will remember 1999, 2000, 2001. Obasanjo, pre-Obasanjo, but he was one that brought it to light. Telecoms.
Yes.
Nitel all of a sudden Nitel was almighty. Nitel died on his own. because they couldn't manage it. Then somebody was making calls for 1 minute for 50 naira, if you remember very well.
More than that.
People were buying SIM cards for 24 naira officially, 24,000 naira
24,000.
officially.
Yes.
How much is SIM card today? They can even dash your SIM card. Open the market up. Let's be true to ourselves. Open the market up. It's a free market. If I decide to go to Cote d'Ivoire and go and import fuel and land it in Nigeria for 2,000 naira, and Dangote decides to refine his in Nigeria and refine it for 200 naira, let it be. Take that regulation out. There are things we are not considering. Is the government for the people of Nigeria, or government is for the marketers of fuel?
Okay, so
These are things we should ask ourselves the question.
yeah, you were talking about opening the market up, and I think let's look at it from this perspective. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, has opened the market up. And you ask me,
to what extent?
it opened the market to not only to Dangote Refinery, but to other modular refineries in the country. And it has equally done its own bit, and I would say done well, by going in line with the policy, the crude for Naira obligation, the crude for Naira exchange obligation, which seemed to be a debate. That seemed to be a debate recently. It seemed to be a very hot debate recently, and they came back to the table and they saw the reason why they should open the market and to make sure that they continue that line of policy because it will be beneficial to Nigeria. And we all saw the reflection of the sustenance of that and how it impacted the Nigerian Naira in the international market, in the foreign exchange market. So Olumide, are you not going to say that they've done their bit? Are you not going to say they've done their bit, opening the market up?
How did they actually open the market?
Oh, of course they did. Because now they are selling petrol of crude to Dangote and to other modular refineries for Naira, which is the dollar equivalent.
Is that happening as we speak?
Of course it's happening.
On paper or as we speak?
As we speak, it's happening.
Okay.
Because if it's not happening, how come the landing cost for Dangote now reduced? And that of those who are importing into the country is on the high side.
Can I ask a question, Olumide? I want you to speak on this. If we say we need FX, we need almighty FX, why spend the one we have given to importers to go outside and go and import fuel? When we can produce it here.
But the importers were not.
No.
The importers were not forced.
You said
they were not forced.
But if we say we are government and government needs this FX, please help me out. Like, I saw you calculating things on paper. Please help me out. If we say we need these dollars, pounds, euros, any one of them, how come we are giving it to these same business people to go and spend outside to bring before refine here?
Fine. Before Olumide come in, let me even say this. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, in its own, will I call it, being responsible to the Nigerian market. The Dangote Refinery requires 650,000 barrels. 650, and NNPCL will be supplying 350,000, that which is more than half. Do remember that Dangote Refinery is the largest even in West Africa, if not the whole Africa, and one of the forces to be reckoned with when it comes to oil and gas and production and refining capacity internationally. So if the NNPCL is obligated to give 350, and let's assume they are doing 350, and they are not only obligated to Dangote Petrol, they are equally obligated to other modular refineries in the country that are locally refining. So it has opened up the market. However, we could say these other companies and modular refineries are not having the full capacity. So Dangote needs to go to Angola. No, I'm just giving you some of the reasons why we need to put some of this because these are facts. Dangote needed to go to Angola. Dangote needs to go to Angola to make sure it can equally access some of the crude to meet up with 650,000 barrels. If NNPCL is giving it 350, then we can say
there is Walter Smith. Is Walter Smith refining?
There's Walter Smith.
Are they refining as we speak? There is Niger Delta refining as we speak. There are smaller modular refineries in Imo State and some part of in Niger Delta. Are they refining as we speak? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. The federal government came out, okay, let's leave federal government. NNPCL came up and said, Warri is working, Port Harcourt is working. Are they refining as we speak? These are things that we need to ask ourselves. Dangote, mind you, no matter how big or how good they are trying, it's a private business.
He has to make profit.
And for us to get to where it will profit Nigerians, more people need to play in this field.
Yes.
That is what the truth is. Can I also ask you a question? Who does NNPCL belong to?
It belongs to the government.
Belongs to.
But as we speak now.
Who does the government belong to?
You know the answer.
I don't know the answer. You help me. No. If we say the government belongs to the people, then what stops you if it's Dangote that is working now, in quote, that is working now, what stops you from giving him the entire crew that he wants? If it's difficult, give him an oil block and tell him to go and drill yourself. Let's get these things working because it's Nigerians that will profit in the long run.
How would it be the
Dangote Refinery alone gave issues to Europe. Several refineries down there are going on half production because of him. And you think they will keep quiet and let him work?
But it is a competitive field. And I heard even Dangote himself, when he was being interviewed, that he never knew that it's quite a dangerous field to veer into. That if he had known, he wouldn't have jumped into it. But now he's already in the river and he's got to swim.
Yes, he said
so, if Dangote, if NNPCL said that we can't afford to give you 650,000 barrels, what is the
logical reason?
The reason, that is what I want to talk about. The reason. Now, do remember that the major aspect or the major earnings of Forex to the country in Nigeria is dependent on our sale of petrol products. Just a moment, Mr. Chooks. Just a moment. We earn our forex from selling crude to the foreign in dollars. We sell in dollars.
Okay.
So now, if we are going to, deploy all our crude, we're going to deploy all our crude and exchange it for naira to Dangote and exchange it for naira to all modular refineries in the country. The entire capacity, the 1.5 million barrels per day that we are producing. Okay. If we give it out to the Nigerian investors in exchange for naira, how much will be left for the NNPCL to exchange this with other foreign markets that we are supplying, we are obligated to supply, so we can earn forex and earn in hard currency dollar for us to even cushion the effect of balance of payments in Nigeria.
See what I'm looking at?
Of course, no, that's another rational point to look at it from.
Okay, now, can we, please, I need you to support me on this. For 60-something years, we've been conditioned to believe what is coming from the West. For 60-something years, we've been conditioned to follow what they say. Who told you that it is these 2.2 million barrels that we must produce?
No, that's the target. That's a target by the current administration.
OPEC quota. Every country has an OPEC quota. Good and fine. We can give them their OPEC quota 2.2. That is for export. What comes inside here is ours. Nobody can stand up and tell me not to feed my family, that my family must eat 2 loaves of bread in a day. Who born you? That is wrong.
No.
We have to get.
And I think we have to be mindful of our language. We have to be mindful of our language. We have to be mindful. No. Just a moment. No. Wait. Sorry. We have to be mindful of our language.
Okay.
Great. Now, mindful of our language.
Yes. When I mean mindful of our language, that as it is in alignment with broadcast ethics. Great.
Thank you.
So now,
hold on. I listened to you for a while, right?
Yes, you did. And I have done that.
The present administration have done well. First, they let the refinery work. The Seplat issue, Tinubu sorted it out in matter of days. Matter of days. What do you think he can't do if he stands and say, hey, these modular refineries, if you have to be oil fields, give it to them. If it has to be whatever we can do for them to get what they need, give it to them.
There's a misconception.
There is no misconception here. We are those that decide to stay in the box.
No. We are not. So you want to say something?
My question is, the modular refineries, the Port Harcourt, why can't we just make this thing work?
Now, we have to understand that modular refineries are not owned. Not all
You know
modular
the
refineries
funniest things, we have illegal refineries working
finished before Dangote
and we
Refinery.
don't have our own working. How is that even possible in this
Okay.
giant of Africa that we call ourselves?
Okay, great. Now, not all modular refineries are owned by the Nigerian government. Some of them, if not majority of them, are owned by private investors. And the
100%.
government is not going to dole out funds to give to private investors to be able to buy crude in Naira, to be able to sell and make profit for themselves. Now,
We are
you
not
have to,
saying
and the
government
major,
give them
no,
funds to
because
buy
that's the
crude.
picture you're painting.
No,
However,
no,
just a moment, we are due for a break.
Like this
We are,
particular break.
we are due for a break right
Okay.
now. So we're going to break. And when we return, the conversation continues. Do stay with us.